Hi, welcome to another segment of Esteemable Acts Wednesdays with me, Francine Ward. So today we're going to focus on courage. So what is courage? Well, I used to think when I was growing up, I used to think courage was an absence of fear. And how did I grow up thinking that? Because I watched the movies and watched TV shows where the guys who were considered courageous, brave, were the ones with the guns. They're the ones who were always fighting. They beat up on people. They were the ones who were considered courageous. But you know what? As I grew up, as I actually became an adult, I started to realize that courage wasn't an absence of fear. In fact, what courage was really a willingness to be afraid, to admit that I was afraid, but also be willing to just walk through my fear. That's what I discovered was courage. I'll tell you, I learned that the hard way because I am somebody who was really notorious for making safe choices all the time. I would never do anything that was scary. I would never do anything that would make me uncomfortable. And I would never do anything that made me look bad. But you know what? The first thing I've ever done in my life that I really recognize as a courageous action on my part, an esteemable action, was when I made a decision to go back to school. Now, I'll talk about it a little bit further in another segment, but just suffice it to say, when I went back to school, I'm a high school dropout with a criminal record. You better believe when I even dreamed of being a lawyer with all that baggage, that was a scary proposition. But you know what? I became willing to feel afraid, which was most of the time, talk about it, admit it, but then I kept walking through it. That's what courage is for me today. It's a willingness to be afraid, but walk through my fear. You'll hear me talk a lot about walking through fear because you know what? I believe that it's an action. It is an action. It's an esteemable action. It's not something that stays up in my brain. It's something that's demonstrated by me walking through fear. So keep that visual in your mind. Being courageous is about being willing to walk through your fear. So this week, I'd like you to think about something in your life that you believe was a courageous action on your part. And maybe even this week, as you go through the week, think about something. It could be that you had the courage to speak up, that you let your voice be heard when in fact you wanted to keep your mouth closed. Maybe it was that you learned something new. You made a decision to go onto the internet, maybe take a look at a YouTube video and learn a new skill, something you wanted to learn, but you've just been afraid to do it. Maybe you had the courage to ask a friend for coffee or open up a book, anything. It could be anything, or plan out your next chapter. Plan out a goal that you would like to accomplish by the end of the year. Whatever it is, I want you to think carefully about some courageous action you can take or you have taken in the last week in particular. Feel free to send me comments. You can send me chats. You can also send me additional questions that also relate to this topic. And, I'll do a video on that at another time. Love your questions. Love them. Okay, until our next segment, I'm Francine Ward, and this is Esteemable Acts Wednesdays with Francine. Until next time, have a great week and make it a courageous week. Bye for now.